How do I describe the district attorney? Heinously and exploitively ambitious. How do I describe the judge? Overtly arrogant and collaborating with the district attorney. How do I describe the counsels for the accusers? Totally unethical. How do I describe many, but not all, general media? Blatantly vicious entities that continually disseminated intentional omissions of truths for the primary purpose of greedily selling sensationalism at the expense of a human life. Historically, people have challenged injustices. I am grateful to any of the jurors who tenaciously fought to review the evidence, which is the rightful way to make a sound decision. Ultimately, that is a manifestation of justice based on facts, not lies. As a very special friend once stated, truth can be subdued but not destroyed. Moreover, I express humongous gratitude to counselors Brian McMonigal and Angela Agrusa for their hard work. Mr. McMonigal for his passionate and powerful articulations of truth. Ms. Agrusa for her thorough research to bolster Counsel McMonigal. To Mr. Andrew Wyatt for his unequivocal skills in public relations. To our team who work diligently and intelligently. To our staffs for their continuous commitment to our family and me. And to our children, grandchildren, and other family who loves us. And to our dear friends and supporters who never gave up on us, despite it all, Bill Cosby.
Well, the lawyer for the alleged victim says Bill Cosby's troubles aren't over yet.
For the trial that just ended, the court only allowed one such prior bad act witness to testify, and that was my client, Kelly Johnson, rather than the 13 such witnesses which the prosecution wanted to call. If the court allows more accusers to testify next time, it might make a difference. In other words, it's too early to celebrate, Mr. Cosby. Round two may be just around the corner. And this time, justice may prevail.
Well, Edis Jianshan has been covering the trial for us from Pennsylvania. Edis, why did the judge come to this decision?
Well, they already waited 6 days. Remember that the jury has met. This was the 6th day, early on in the morning, 9 a.m. local time. And it became quite clear soon enough, within the first hour of today's deliberations, that the current deadlock that they're stuck in is quite definite. So they went up to the judge to inform him. And then in the next hearing, just about an hour ago, the judge asked every single member of the jury, all 12 of them, nodded their heads in confirmation that the deadlock was quite unsolvable at this point. So the judge finally ruled that the trial was essentially a hung jury and a mistrial. So this is, for now, it seems, the end of this case. But remember that there was a really big effort trying to get to a final verdict, because as of Friday, the judge informed the jury members that they could take as much time as possible to get to a final verdict if they wanted to. And they really took their time. They asked for multiple clarifications.
The residents, aren't they? Okay. And Edis, obviously this isn't the end for Bill Cosby, so he's now facing a second trial.
Well, most certainly it is too early to call it a victory, because we're hearing that word about round two already. Remember that a mistrial simply means that they couldn't reach a final verdict, but it still allows the prosecutors the right to reopen the case, to go for a retrial if they can find enough new evidence. And that will also depend on the head count. Looking at the jury, we suspect that the reason it took so long to reach a final decision for the judge to decide on a mistrial was probably because there was a great majority of the jury members trying to persuade a minority until that last minute. it. Now, we don't know if they were trying to convince them for a guilty verdict or a non-guilty verdict, but we expect that probably since they are talking about a round 2, the prosecutors might feel that they were actually close and they still have the right to reopen this case. So maybe there might be a dozen of supporters of Cosby right out here celebrating the decision. It might not be altogether the end of this case.
It is Jian Shan in Pennsylvania. Thank you very much indeed.